Some ratchet one time?
Look, I don't wanna talk. How you try and press the kid and really you was soft. All you know is capping, homie, you don't know the law. Pedal to the metal, you ain't catching me in park. I just hit the stop.
One we're currently watching now. That's my opinion,
Mhm.
folks. So
She didn't
anyway,
seem all that concerned about her husband dying anyway.
yeah. And,
I told you she didn't love him. She didn't love him.
yeah.
I'm
You know
just
what's
saying.
funny? Yeah. You know what's so funny in the episode? John, our boy, our white boy here, like he's like
Gotta
begging
go
them.
racial again. Gotta go racial.
I'm not. I cannot. I'm not gonna say Blackthorn, Blackstone. Let's stick with the script of.
I don't want to hear the word black out of that mouth again, motherfucker.
Whoa. Well, I say his last
All
name.
this white black shit. I don't know what you're trying to do
Whoa.
here, but
Well, folks, did you see this? This is completely racist. I wasn't expecting racial discrimination in here in this show at all.
it's
I'm
either
so-
Blackstone or nothing, baby.
Well, that's pretty, all right, John, Mr. WB, if you know that. Anyway, when he was trying to beg them to like.
Andres. That's one of Andres' fangirls, Cyber.
Oh,
Oh, yep. Mhm.
oh,
That's what that was.
Friend of Angela Bassett, correct?
yes.
Yeah. Andres has these time traveling fangirls and whatnot and everything. That was one that like wouldn't let him go. Andres wanted to go, but she wouldn't let him go.
I see. I get it.
Her 48 hours were up.
She only had 48 hours with you? Jesus Christ, Andres.
No. See, Jeff is wrong. It was 58 hours.
Could you imagine having to do 48 hours with Andres? Oh my god.
That'd be interesting.
How about this? Fuck you.
What? That's the earliest you've ever said that ever, I think, in the history of the shows ever. Like you've never said it that early. That's that at like the 2-minute and 50-second mark. You dropped the fuck you. Good for you, Andres.
Thank you. I'm just pleasing my audience here.
I know you have your own thing. I'm sure you probably have your own little niche of our audience, right, Cyber? That you're a little fan group of like Andres fans.
Oh, I'm sure there is. I'm sure there's Andres fangirls out there.
Yeah.
All you folks in the live stream audience, when you start to get built up and I can actually ask you questions, I'm gonna find out if any of you are like hardcore Time Lord fans.
Yeah. This sounds about right.
Yep.
All right.
Did you notice that I decided to rock the wife beater for the episode for the review tonight?
Yes, I did notice.
Show a little skin.
Showing us. Why do you feel you need to show skin, sir?
Just changing it up, sir. Just changing it up. You know.
I think it would really be changing up if you just were like shirtless. I think that would have been really shocking to everyone. Like, why are we watching this shirtless guy?
Shirtless is really unprofessional. I told you that one time me and Gunnar recorded and the guy came on shirtless. The kid? That shit was hilarious. Hilarious. I swear to God, I was laughing my ass off. No, I'm not going to go shirtless. Like, maybe when I'm at Rockville, maybe I'll fan cam or vlog or whatever, shirtless or whatnot, but that's about as close as I'll get. You'll never be able to see me sit behind the camera and whatnot in front of the microphone and whatnot on the MCU'S Bleeding Edge shirtless, folks. It's not going to happen.
Not going to happen, folks. Not going to happen.
Unless Andres does it.
No.
Oh, Andres has to do it.
If he does it, I'll do it.
That's my skin. So.
I mean, not right now. Let's not do it let's get into 48 hours and do our movie review. We can take, let's plan out this taking our shirts off thing. Let's not do it spontaneously.
What?
We should plan it.
No. We should not. First off, what the fuck are you talking about?
I want to do some push-ups and shit and whatnot and all that and everything before I take my shirt off.
No, you have to do it now, and then that's it. It's like it's just 1, 2, 3.
He wants to make sure his guns are looking properly.
I just think it's unprofessional. I really don't mind taking my shirt off. I walk around shirtless. You know that, Cyber. Like I like to walk. I don't mind walking around shirtless. Like it's actually a natural thing for me. I live out in Florida, so like I walk around shirtless quite a bit. It doesn't bother me at all. It's just that I feel like it's really unprofessional, like live and everything and whatnot on video and all these different platforms on YouTube and all that. There's certain lines that I just don't want to cross. It's just distasteful. Maybe if it was like a gag or something like that or whatever, like it,
He's
like
talking about going over the lines.
Yeah, man. There are. I mean, I do have some morality in me, some decency in me.
I like how it draws it at. Nope, can't take my shirt off. Can't show my hairy nips.
This is the best clip ever.
Maybe if one of the drinking game nights gets really fucking hot, gets lit or whatever, whatnot, I'll take it off. We'll see.
Yeah.
If somebody will send like a $5 super like or super chat in here and whatnot, I'll take it off for $5.
Oh, there you go, folks. Do you hear that now?
Yep.
$5.
$5. If you send a $5 super chat in or whatever, whatnot, everything, I'll go shirtless for a couple minutes. That's it though. Then I'll go back to my shirt.
That could work.
Hey, sex sells, baby.
Sure.
I was so glad that Reggie got some pussy at the end of the movie. And there you go, folks. There's our review, $40.
Can you just allow Saber to do the moderate, sir? Come on, it's not your show. It's his show. Come on, let's go.
Okay. Thank you for that. All right.
This is our new format. Under 8 minutes.
Under 8 minute format now, folks. We tell the name of the movie. We tell you who's in it, and that's it, and we're done.
You're moderating, Cyber. You're moderating, sir. I'm just fucking with you.
Okay.
It's your movie. You moderate.
Okay. I wasn't sure. I thought you picked 48 hours, but I could be
No,
wrong.
you picked 40 hours. I picked The Matrix.
Okay. For some reason, I had Back to the Future Part 2 stuck in my head, so
that comes after The Matrix.
So that's where I'm confused. All right, folks. So we're going to be talking about 48 hours tonight.
Oh man, this is like an Alexis moment, almost like that or whatever, whatnot. Or no, it's one of our moments. Did we have a show once or twice before where either one of us knew who was moderating before too? Did it happen?
Yeah, we've had that happen once or twice. It happens. It's all good. But anyways, so we're going to be talking about. I knew I was moderating. I just had the movie wrong. That's my bad. But anyways, so we're going to be talking about 48 Hours tonight, folks. The 1982 Eddie Murphy, Nick Nolte film, which is considered an American buddy cop action comedy film. Now, if you're not familiar with this, it was directed and co-written by Walter Hill. Now, Walter Hill is a great director. He's directed a whole bunch of great films over the years. Some of his most notable films he's directed are... let's see.
Warriors.
Yeah, Warriors. He did Brewster's Millions. Alien. He helped write the story on Aliens. He directed Red Heat. He directed another 48 Hours. He was a writer on Aliens 3. I mean, this guy, he's done a whole bunch of things over the years, and just as I think a really great action director. I really haven't seen him direct much other than action films, and they were just really, really good. But I think Walter Hill did a great job directing this film. I think he gave us a really solid film here that is considered, I would say, one of the first buddy cop films, if you think about it, especially coming out 42 years ago. So it's one of those films that a lot of people, when they think of Eddie Murphy, they think of 48 Hours, Beverly Hills Cops, and stuff like that. So this is one of those films. All right, so like I said, directed by Walter Hill, starring Eddie Murphy, Nick Nolte. It came out exactly on December 8th of 1982. So this was a late 1982 film. So it'll be hitting 42 years in December of this year. It did have a sequel that came out in 1990, which came out 8 years later, which I thought was really funny. But like I said, Nicola T, Eddie Murphy, Annette O'Toole's in this, really young Annette O'Toole, who I absolutely love. James Remar, you might recognize as Dexter's dad from Dexter, the TV show from Showtime about the serial killer. Sonny Landham was in this. You might recognize him, of course, from Predator. He was the Native American gentleman that was in that film. He also was governor of his state for many years before he passed away in 2017. Jonathan Banks is in this film as well, along with a great plethora of like kind of those like great kind of like character actors that you see throughout a whole bunch of films. So let's starting off. Let's just go around the table and ask, how many times have you seen this film? Was this your first time, or have you seen this a few other times? And kind of what were your thoughts going into watching this film for your first time? And kind of your thoughts after rewatching it if this is not your first time. Starting with you, Pop Culture Guy.
Oh, cool. Yeah. So yeah, as Cyber said before, I think if you haven't seen The Warriors, you should know that we're huge fans of Walter Hill's films. I'm a huge fan. I mean, my dad and I love The Warriors. We always watch it together as a family. And the 40 Hours was no different. This is like not my first time seeing the film, but it's my first time seeing the film fully. Like I seen bits of here and there with the film out when it's on TV. So it was great when this review was on schedule. I was happy to see it like the full film, and it's great. It's amazing. I love it, and I'm excited to talk about it. And I mean, come on, it's Eddie Murphy. This is his film debut, so nothing else spectacular.
Jeff, same question, sir.
Can you run that by me again? Give me the skinny on that, Cyber. I'm talking to AB Fiorito real quick.
Just your thoughts going into this film from the perspective of your first time, and how many times have you seen this film, and is this your first, or how many times have you seen this film?
God, I have to say probably how do you count the times you watched it when you were like a little kid and like you didn't even really understand what the hell was going on? You know what I mean? Like, those ones I can't really count. I have to say this one is the first time I ever watched it as like an old enough person to actually comprehend what was going on in like the scenes and whatnot and all that completely as an adult at an adult level, right? So this was my first real watch of it.
Okay. Now, for those that aren't familiar with, let's say, The Warriors, would you say that The Warriors is Walter Hill's #1 film, or do you think that this movie kind of catapulted him to more success after The Warriors? Andres?
Oh, that's a tough one. I think personally for me is definitely The Warriors. Made him more iconic because I know that the film didn't. I'm trying to remember if The Warriors did well in the box office, but everyone knows about The Warriors. It's very iconic. It's the 70s. The 40 Hours for me is more about the success of Eddie Murphy than really the director, I would say. Because I say just now, this is the film debut of Eddie Murphy and capitulate his career afterwards. I mean, next year, like 83, he does Trading Places, and then 84 is Beverly Hills. So no, I have to say it's The Warriors for Walter Hill. And Alien too. I mean, you have to go with those two.
What do you think, Jeff? Do you think that Walter Hill is more recognized for 48 Hours or for The Warriors?
I wouldn't really. I don't know. I wouldn't have the background knowledge to know, like from an industry standpoint or whatnot, or even from like a person to person standpoint, like where the split would be at. But I'd say that without like having all the information for The Warriors pulled up right in front of me, I'd say that like I know even enough to know, even though like I was born in '82, you know what I'm saying? So again, like I really didn't watch this film really like it with the adult lens until today. I did look at the numbers, and this movie was a commercial success. And I don't believe The Warriors was.
Very much so. Yeah, this was done for a $12 million budget, and it made $78.9 million at the box office in '82. So that's a huge commercial success. I believe The Warriors was made for a little less, and only made like 20 million, I think it made. So I mean, it definitely wasn't a very successful movie right at first. But like Andre said, the pop cultureness of it over the years, the fandom has become huge. And so that is the reason why The Warriors has become such a success now, is because of how it's become such a cult classic. So,
well, yeah, because it has that huge fucking ensemble roster of like fucking 80s and 90s like fucking like actors.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
there's two actors in this movie are from the Warriors. If you know, they're the actors. You know, I recognize two of them.
Yeah, it was like the goddamn Avengers of like fucking the 80s like fucking the actors.
Yep. All right, excellent, guys. All right, so basically we start off this film. It's a like I said, buddy cop film, and we start off the film with these two career criminals and convicted criminals that escape custody, who were Albert Gaines and Billy Bear. They end up traveling to San Francisco, where they end up coming in contact with a guy named Henry Wong, who is a former associate, and they kill him. And so that's when Nick Nolte's character comes in, Jack Cates, and him and his partners end up going to the hotel and finding Gans and Billy, and they basically have like this huge shootout. And so as they get there, they end up finding out that it's actually an ambush to ambush them. And so in the ensuing shooting, Gaines kills Algren and Van Zant, but Billy is able to escape and then taking Jack's service revolver. So then after that, we have Jack getting a replacement pistol after the bad guys took his service revolver, and he tracks down some of Gan's former partners in crime, who happens to be, aka Eddie Murphy, Mr. Reggie Hammond, who has been in prison now for 6 months, going on his 3-year sentence for armed robbery. They basically have kind of this great little memorable first meeting in prison. Basically Jack saying he needs his help and cooperation, and Reggie's basically like, screw you. And basically Jack's able to manage to get Reggie out for a 48-hour release in his custody for Reggie to help him. So that he can help him find Billy and Gaines. So before we move up past that great kind of opening sequence there, the escape, the killing of Henry Wong, the shootout at the hotel, and then the introduction to Eddie Murphy's character. What were you guys' thoughts on that section of the film? What did you think about, this being Eddie Murphy's first big film? And how did you think he did? And how did you feel about the chemistry between him and Nick Nolte? And what did you think about kind of your overall thoughts on the two main lead bad guys too? What were your thoughts on them? I'll start with you, Jeff.
No one's going to marry you, Haranam. Like, you have a beard. No one's going to date you, Haranam. You have a beard. No one's going to be your boyfriend, Haranam. You have.
For now on, I start every contribution with the bearded lady first. No, I'm just kidding, folks. So, $40 is really solid. The opening's great. The guy, Billy or whatever, I don't remember his name is, the Indian guy, Billy Bear, is Billy from Predator. You know what I'm saying? That's who he is. He's Billy from fucking Predator, dude. Like, isn't his name in Predator Billy?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, his name is Billy.
That's who he is. Yeah, that's Billy from Predator, dude. It's fucking awesome. I love that shit. And as far as you know, what I think of the chemistry between Nick Nolte and Murphy, I mean, it's good. Apparently, from what Nolte says, almost all of the dialogue, right? And when I was watching this on Amazon Prime Video, they have all the, you know, the commentary shit and whatnot on the side of the screen. So I wrote down some of it. And according to Nolte, you know, almost all the dialogue between him and Murphy was all improvised, right? And that makes sense, I think, doesn't it? Like, kind of, you know what I mean? Like, you know, like that's kind of how I would figure it would be with Eddie Murphy, that it would be like an ad-libber, right? Especially this kind of movie where, you know, you've got that buddy cop dynamic going. I thought they had great chemistry, and the fact that they I believe that Nolte, if he would say, if for him to say something like that, I think that's probably how it really went down. You know, there's a lot of directors out there, Cyber, you know, that really have, you know, will really let their actors and actresses really ad lib at like a high level, you know, certain ones, right? And I think it fits this type of film, that kind of ad libbing and whatnot with their chemistry. But their chemistry is good. I don't understand how it's even legally possible that, like, in the real world, that it'd be that easy for him to get Reggie out of prison for 2 days. Like, they just kind of make that happen so quick. I was watching that thinking to myself, like, yeah, right. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, like, you know what else I found interesting, you know, as far as like side notes and whatnot and everything, that was on Amazon Prime. It said that Chris Christopherson was at one point considered for the role of Jack Cates. The word fuck is used 48 times in the film, right? To correspond with the title. Well, they didn't do it on purpose, but and Mickey Rourke and let's see, Burt Reynolds turned down the role of Jack Cates. So like a lot of like, you know, like big actors like, you know, Sylvester Stallone turned down the role. I think that's really interesting. And the guy James Remar often said that he would go without sleep before shooting his scenes, that main villain guy, because he wanted to look more psychotic on screen. I think that's pretty cool. But yeah, I dug their chemistry. I thought they were good. The movie wouldn't work if they didn't have good chemistry. Is it symbiote? Does it start right from jump? This is really young Eddie Murphy. He's like, baby, this is really young Eddie Murphy. So like, it takes Eddie Murphy a minute to really find his groove in the film.
True. Excellent. Thank you. Andre, same question, sir.
Sure. I mean, look, if you haven't seen The Warriors, What the Hill will give you a blast with all the action. And the action from the beginning of the escape was so, like, unexpected. Like, you get this Indian guy coming in, you know, Billy Bear, and then the main character, James Remmer's, you know, main bad guy, you know, who's a fantastic actor. I love him. You know, you haven't seen his work in Sex and the City, or, you know, he's in The Warriors. That's the big thing. He's a big, I think, regular contemplator for What the Hill. He's fantastic as the villain. And right away, he, like, is so, like, really dark and creepy. I mean, the way he kills the two cops so brutally is just impressive. I mean, yeah, I felt really bad for the character Jack that Nick Nolte plays, and when he has to give him his revolver, and it's like, oh my god, it's just so powerful stuff. And those like 40 or like 20 minutes into the film, and then it was crazy when I saw, I'm surprised they didn't cast me in The Warriors. They're in 1979. I have my own group in The Warriors. Just let you guys know.
Did you just tell me like yesterday that you were born back in like 1963 or some shit like that, or whatever, whatnot? So you would have been alive.
Oh yeah, 62. I was gonna say 62. That's where I was born. Anyway, when it was funny when I saw Jonathan Banks. That was so cool. One of the things that is so funny about this movie starts everyone's career in the action, and you know, big blockbuster films during the 80s and 90s. And he's going to be with Eddie again in Beverly Hills Cop as one of the main villains, which is funny. Great actor, of course. He's in Better Call Saul and the Breaking Bad universe. He's great as I forgot his character he played there, but he's really awesome. And I was sad that he died. Like, I was shocked that he died so quickly in the opening. And then, getting into the chemistry between Andy Murphy and Nick Nolte is very great. I mean, these two, we brought up the buddy cop thing. Like, these two set up the formula of what a buddy cop is going to be, with Lethal Weapon, Bad Boys, and Rush Hour, these two complete opposite characters, and it's kind of crazy that
sir, a lady just appeared on the show, sir. Be a gentleman and allow her to be introduced and everything and whatnot. Don't just talk over her.
No worries. Amy, nice to see you.
Hi guys, I'm so sorry that I'm late. I thought it was on May 15th. There was a little bit confusion with the time. So I'm actually in Sacramento right now in a random hotel. I plugged in the webcam, the ring light, the mic so fast. I got ready, but thank you so much for having me. Sorry about that.
You know what? Honestly, Amy, obviously, we're live, so I don't have the means to go and look at my scheduling book and see like who's right or wrong. But thank you for just coming through either way. You know what I'm saying and whatnot. I may very well have made a change and have not told you. You know how it is when you've got something planned over long distance. Sometimes things change.
Totally. And I think we've been talking since November, but you're lucky I wasn't doing anything right now and I had everything ready. I just needed to set it up. So thank you guys so much. I'm not sure where you're at in the conversation, but I'm happy to be here.
Oh, well, I'm sure my co-host Cyber that's moderating the show will be more than happy to fill you in and whatnot and let you know where we're at. And we're about to listen to Andres, the pop culture guy, go on one of his 60-minute diatribes probably here. Actually, you came in perfect time.
Awesome.
I think Andres was done, I think.
Oh, was he?
Was that everything?
Just to wrap up the Eddie Murphy thing. No, I think here's the thing. Eddie Murphy, he feels like Eddie Murphy. I just think his character is more grounded than some of his characters play, because when he played his characters like Trading Places, the year after, in 83, and then Beverly Hills, he plays more like flamboyant characters, where this character Reggie in the 48 Hours is more grounded. He's a criminal, which is something I trying to think Eddie doesn't play at all in his career until another movie called Life, where he's like a comic there with Martin Lawrence. So I think he's full on Eddie Murphy in this movie. It's just his character is just different from some of his characters he has played, and then later on in his career.
Thank you. Yeah, don't forget, like we've mentioned before, this was his first movie, his first big movie that he made. So he also was probably trying to get used to the idea of what he was doing too. So that's why this character is probably so different compared to a lot of his other ones, because he was more seasoned by that point. So people saw a lot of greatness in him and, gave him this chance, and he proved it, by, becoming a action star in this, really. All right. So, Amy, we just discussed kind of the beginning portion of the film now, from the very beginning up to the point when Nick Nolte's character Jack has gotten Eddie Murphy out of jail for that 48 hours to help him find the bad guys. So we're up to that point in the movie. So I was going around asking both of them how many times have you seen the movie? When was your first time? And what were your first thoughts after the first time you saw it? I'll start you off with.
Sure. So really quick, I'll just introduce myself. So my name's Amy Farina, aka MC Unicorn. Jeff found me on Instagram back in November. I'm the host of the Drop Bass Not Bombs podcast, and I do a lot of stuff in the electronic music scene. Funny enough, I actually saw 48 Hours for the first time this trip on the plane. So last week. Originally, when I started talking to Jeff, I was thinking I was going to come on for City Slickers 2. but I actually live in the Netherlands. So with the time difference, it would have been like in the middle of the night, and I have neighbors. So it's like, okay, let's wait till I'm in the States. I'm here for work now. I'm on the West Coast. And I ended up watching the movie on the plane. I got it from Amazon Prime. So it was my first time seeing the movie. And I loved it. And what's cool about watching movies on Amazon on a tablet or a laptop, you get those little trivia. Do you know that, where you get like the little trivia and hints and stuff? So that's where
we were just talking about it right before you came on. I wrote down a bunch of it right down in my notebook.
Yeah, so one of the trivia facts that I saw was that Eddie Murphy almost got fired for not being funny enough. But I thought it was really funny. So my impressions of the movie, I thought it was hilarious. It's great to watch an 80s movie. It had a lot of action. It was funny. I liked the character development. Yeah, it was overall, I thought it was great.
Excellent. Thank you. And so like I was saying, we were talking a little bit about the beginning, the introduction of the two main villains, the introduction of Eddie Murphy and Nick Nolte's character, Jack and Reggie. What were your thoughts on kind of the beginning of the film? Like from when they escape from prison to the killing of Henry Wong, up to the point, like I said, where Jack gets Reggie out of jail to help him find these criminals.
There's a lot of tension between the two of them at the beginning. And I think that's what I like at the end when they become friends. They really exist in two different worlds. And there's just a lot of tension. You can tell that Jack kind of looks down on Reggie. There's some racial tension at play as well. Of course, this is from the 1980s. So yeah, first impression when he gets him from the jail. I forget what song he's singing. Something about turning off the red light. I don't know the song, but
it's Roxanne by Police.
Roxanne, thank you. I only know electronic music, so that's I thought that was hilarious, and that was very. I think when I jumped on this conversation, you were saying Eddie Murphy's kind of transformation over time. That's very Eddie Murphy, and the screaming, like I just from like a lot of movies, he's like ah, it's kind of erratic. So yeah, those were my first impressions of that first part.
All right, excellent, thank you. All right, so moving on with the film. So, like I said, where we left off, Reggie has just gotten out of jail, and Jack has, brought him out for a 48-hour reprieve to help him find Gans and Billy. So Reggie ends up leading Jack to Gans' apartment, where the last time Gans was seen, and they end up coming across one of his associates called Luther Kelly, who actually lives there.
He was a commando.
Yep. And he was also in the Warriors. And so they take a look around, Jack does anyways, and all of a sudden out of nowhere, Luther starts firing at him. And basically Jack, is able to get, towards him and starts, wants to interrogate him, and Luther basically refuses. So Jack arrests Luther so that he can be able to interrogate him. And so basically they kind of, have their kind of like little thing, and he kind of gives up some information eventually, and they go their separate ways. So after that, that's when we go to a great night sequence where Reggie ends up leading Jack to a redneck hangout called Torchy's, and I guess Billy used to be a bartender there, so that's why they end up going to this place to try to get some information. So basically they end up getting there, and Jack basically says, oh, you think you can shake this place down, huh? Better than I can. And Reggie's like, of course I can. And so he basically he goes in there with Jack's badge and basically single-handedly brings the crowd under his control, and basically shows Jack up. And basically as they're in there, of course, we have that great 80s music going. There's strippers and all this kind of stuff. And basically they end up getting a lead on Billy's girlfriend, Casey. And so after, Eddie Murphy shows, Jack up, and they get the information, they get themselves out of there. and end up going to find the girlfriend at her apartment. And when they get to the apartment there, basically, they try to, get in there. And of course, the girlfriend's got a bat and stuff like that and is about to arrest them. And they're like, they're like, identify themselves. I'm a cop. I'm a detective. And she's like, I've seen fake ones before. And basically they kind of have like a little tussle a little bit until finally she, realizes he's, Jack's really a cop and sees, Reggie, and that, they're there to just talk. And basically they ask her, have you seen Billy lately? And she's like, no, I haven't seen him, and blah, blah, blah. And, the last time we had an argument and I threw him out. And so, basically they leave it at that. But as they're leaving, Jack's more kind of like, I don't believe her, basically, they're not telling us something. They've seen him, and, kind of him and Reggie kind of had tension starting to build up. And so, as that happens, basically they end up, Jack ends up pulling themselves over, and they get into this crazy fist fight, which is absolutely hilarious. And they're beating each other up and hitting each other, and they're just doing this in the middle of like this gas station area.
So 80s, baby. So 80s.
So 80s. And like people are kind of just walking by, watching as they're doing this. This white guy, beating up this black guy, this black guy beating up this white guy, and basically they're like fighting it out and stuff, and finally they end up getting interrupted by a pair of patrol officers. And so after they get interrupted by them, that they finally stop kind of fighting, and even after they stop fighting, they get back in the car, and Reggie says something a little obnoxious, and Jack hits him again, like, to shut up. And then after that, basically Reggie finally confesses that he, Gans, Billy, Luther, and Henry had robbed the drug dealer of $500,000 some years earlier, and that the money, which he kept, he stashed it in a trunk of his car that is in this parking garage downtown. And basically he ends up basically saying that he got sold out by Gans, which results in why he's in jail, and that he has kept the money for himself, and had it hidden in that parking garage this whole time. And so they go there to scout out the parking garage. And basically, when Gans and Billy broke out of jail, they went to Luther looking for the money. And so when he didn't have it, didn't know where it was, or he wouldn't say where it was, he would pretend like just Reggie knew. They ended up kidnapping his girlfriend until Reggie exchanged the money for her safe return. So we'll stop there. So in this section of the film, what were your guys' thoughts and outcomes of this portion of the film? What were your thoughts? What did you think about that fist fight between Reggie and Jack? If you had come across that in 1982 or even 10 years later in 1992, what were your thoughts be coming across that happening? And what were your thoughts kind of like on Reggie and the bar at the bar? What did you think about that sequence? And what did you think about the girlfriends and that kind of little section of the film? What were just your overall thoughts on all of that, and anything you'd like to add to it as well? I'll start with you this time, Amy.
Yeah, I thought, what we've been talking in the chat as well, was very 80s. Everything just seemed very 80s. The sequence, the music. We actually see the girlfriends again later in the film when they go back into that apartment. So I thought that was interesting. But yeah, I mean, I wasn't born in 1982. I'm actually born in 1991, so I was just one in 1992. So if I saw a fight on the street as a baby, I'm not sure I would have reacted. But yeah, I thought that whole part was really entertaining for sure.
If I saw a fight when I was a baby, I would have gotten in the fight. I would have been baby fighting and shit and whatnot.
I would have been like, "Give me that money that you stole."
Are you sure you want to take some more time, Amy? Because Andres is going to go next, and he's going to talk for like 47 minutes.
You can go for it. Go for it.
Okay.
I'll jump in again later.
Did you have any other thoughts on that section of the film? The fist fight, the bar, the girlfriends, anything else on those guys?
No, I don't think so. I only saw the movie once, so you guys go ahead and jump in, and I'll jump in again.
All right, Jeff, your turn, sir. Same question.
All right, let's do some jumping. Let's do some jumping in and shit and whatnot. All right, cool. So that bar scene is like one of the best scenes ever. Like it sets the template. It's like literally, it's one of the best scenes like probably in the 80s of like you're like that's how even I know that. Having honestly, Amy, I saw this movie. I was born in '82, and I saw this movie when I was a little kid, but I never watched it with an adult lens until today. So I never really knew what the hell was going on.
Oh wow, that's
I was blown away when Nick Nolte used the nigger word like in the film.
Can you say that on YouTube?
Yeah, I've said it several times.
Oh, okay.
You know, in different states of drunkenness.
Oh,
and,
okay.
You know, no, yeah, you can. It just depends on what you got. I've got a little Wakandan in me. You know what I'm saying? Like I've got a little bit of, I'm from New York, born and raised. So certain white people can
I'm
get.
from New York too, but I don't know. But yeah, that is something that struck me throughout the movie. That word, and then the other word that people don't say now that starts with an F. A lot of watching 80s movies now, it's like, whoa, like that would have been
acceptable
today.
Like I was very surprised. I did not expect that when Nick Nolte dropped that shit. I was like, was that really necessary? You know what I'm saying? Like, did they need to add that in there? You know what I mean? Like, like it kind of like shocked me. It's amazing that it wasn't shocking back then. But like one thing I want to point out is like the fucking violence against women by like the main criminals or whatnot, everything is goddamn disgusting. It's like despicable. You know what I'm saying? Like, like you see a lot of that kind of shit in the 80s, but like this is the worst of the worst. Like these dudes are taking chicks hostages left and right? Like every time they get in the shootout, they're grabbing random women to be hostages and shit and whatnot. They're the most despicable criminals ever. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're the ones, they deserve to die. You know what I mean? Like, like, they shouldn't even be put in prison. They're like hitting women and shit and whatnot and all that. Like, it's not bad enough you're like kidnapping them and holding them like at gunpoint and shit and whatnot because you're too pussy to like fight. But on top of that, you gotta be hitting them and shit too. Like, come on now. I just was amazed by some of that. Like, like $40 is something else, man. It's a good movie. It's pretty damn serious. And it's a good buddy cop movie, but the action scenes are really good, and the suspense of the film is really solid all the way through. I really like the saloon scene. It's standout. You know what I'm saying? I mean, there's a reason why Eddie Murphy won a Golden Globe, didn't he, for this movie? Well, there you go. Did he win a Golden? I'm pretty sure.
That in the trivia.
Andres, look it up. Did he win a Golden Globe for best new actor or something like that, or best new performer?
Yeah. He was nominated for a Golden Globe. That was in the notes. Yeah.
Okay, there you go. So see, I mean,
Wow.
like, that's probably some of like the highest acting kudos he ever got in his career. And that's it. I'll stop there. No, I mean he's never come close to. Did he ever actually get nominated for an Oscar?
Close to certain films, but for Dynamite and then Dreamgirls, he was nominated for Best Supporting Actor, but he lost that from Arkins for Little Miss Sunshine in 2006.
Well, oh, he's won an Oscar, and almost won an Oscar for that Rescue, right? So
Oh my
God. There you go.
I was wondering what clips you were gonna put. I was watching some of your other episodes, and you guys just always play these random clips. I was wondering.
Oh, so you were waiting, Amy? Were you like on your seat, like waiting for me to drop some shit?
No, I was just like, well, I didn't know what to expect. So I was like flabbergasted that it was today, and then was just quickly getting ready, and then I remembered about the. Oh. Whoa! What was that?
Amy, so are you a fan of the Bleeding Edge? You liked our Fallout reviews?
So I watched one of them. So even though it was a little late today, I'm actually usually extremely well prepared for things. And I did do some research on you guys after you reached out to me. So I watched a couple of your episodes here and there just to get a vibe for what you guys were about. And I just appreciate how you guys go way off on different topics and then you bring it back to the topic at hand. I think that takes real skill, and you guys are funny and entertaining, and you deep dive. Like, I guess I missed Andre's 47-minute explanation, but you guys deep dive, and that's awesome.
He's got one in him still. Don't worry.
Okay, good. And I'm excited to hear it, and I'll jump in as well. I don't have 47-minute explanations about this movie because I've only seen it once, but I'm happy to chime in and comment on yours, and things will come to me, I'm sure.
Did you see the review where I was talking about the use condoms as currency?
No, what? No.
Oh, okay. Don't worry about it.
Well, now I'm worried about it. What do you mean? That doesn't sound sanitary. You can't drop something like that and be like, "Don't." Now I'm like concerned.
It's Fallout universe. Anything, you can do anything in the Fallout universe.
Did you guys play the games too?
I did.
Me neither. No, I didn't either. I just am familiar with the games. Yeah, and I watched.
Anyways,
go back to.
I'm sorry. I got us off derail, Cyber. I apologize.
Yeah, you did.
Keep it on topic.
Do I need to virtually bitch slap you, sir?
No, sir.
Do you have an effect that does that? Like, phew.
No, I just actually have a panel right over here. Whatnot. I usually save it for the hose, but like, if I have to, I'll.
We're the hose.
Oh well, I mean, we've got fangirls. You didn't see them? Yeah, Andres has fangirls.
Ooh.
Yeah.
You didn't know?
Yeah. He's telling his imaginative hose that he's talking about. These are imaginary.
That's Andres trying to leave. Trying to get after the show. Trying to leave. Like go back home. Trying to go home.
That's so
Maybe
funny.
he's got so many fangirls.
Oh my god.
They're like, no, Andres,
don't leave.
Keep live streaming and talk for another 60 minutes, please.
Oh my god. Too funny. Too funny.
Can't forget about the P. Diddy juice.
Sir, I never forget out
I'm about that life. Ask P. Diddy. I just came from his house, even though I'm feeling funny after drinking P. Diddy juice. Wait, what the fuck? What's happening here?
Oh my god. Where do you find these? Where do they come from?
I don't know. Cyber gave me that one. Where'd you find that one, Cyber?
That was on TikTok.
That was on TikTok?
Yeah, that was on TikTok.
I wish you could get the damn ones from Instagram, man. There's some funny shit on Instagram. Oh my god.
Oh. All right, guys. Okay. Thank you, sir, for your contribution. All right, Andres. Same question, sir. That section of the film, sir.
Yeah, sure. I mean, that bar scene with Eddie Murphy, I already saw that because my dad always he always watched these very funny clips of Eddie Murphy, and they always take these clips from his movies that are so funny that like show how ridiculous he is as an actor. And that is one of the clips I seen from this movie, which is so funny. I mean, it just demonstrates how good his character Reggie is as a con man, which is great. And yeah, and the violence. I wasn't really shocked about the whole violence thing and the N word. I mean, like Walter Hill is a very like straightforward. Like he makes his world feel real for us. Like if you watch The Warriors, I mean, The Warriors wasn't like this far apart from this movie. Like The Warriors was so dark and gritty, and this movie has that dark and gritty.
Is this the 50% Warriors movie review and 50% 48 Hours review?
Hey, I mean, Walter Hill directed the movie and it's iconic. The Luther guy. It's so funny. He's playing a good guy because he always plays the bad guy. He's in Commando, as Jeff brought it up, and he's also in The Crow. If you've seen the Brandon Lee version of 1984, he plays also the bad guy there. He's fantastic, and I was shocked when I saw the whole movie. This movie, and he was playing the good guy. I mean, he is a bad. He's a robber like Eddie Murphy. What as we got the information from about stealing that drug dealer, but like he's playing against type, which I was kind of surprised. And of course, he's also in the Warriors. He played the main bad guy in the Warriors, who tricked our beloved Warriors in that movie. So spoilers if you haven't seen.
He just looks like a fucking scumbag.
Yeah, I mean, it's he totally is that, but he's so good at that. That's so great. Like that's the reason he's so good, especially in Commando. Like it's incredible, and Dark as well. Like a scummy person like in The Crow. So yeah, I love this sequence is fantastic. I mean the cinematography is so amazing, especially Chinatown. Like it looks so beautiful. This in San Francisco, which is a great area for movies. I mean, if you've ever seen Bullet, and I mean some other movies that shot in that film, like The Invasion of Body Snatchers, the remake. I love that city, and it's great in film. And Walter Hill really captures that, like, you know, busting and hustling of that city, which is great.
Just make sure when you go on vacation before you go there that you check the poop maps to see where the poop is.
There's a poop app. What's that?
That's for the homeless people where they poop. They have apps where you can go and track the poop piles.
But how accurate is that? Because doesn't the poop like not evaporate, go down over time, or get cleaned down?
There must be a lot of it. I'm not sure.
Okay, I'm done. Cyber, take it away.
Okay. Well, thank you, sir. Thank you
Too
for
much.
that. Ah, Jeffrey. What are we gonna do with you, sir?
I don't know, sir.
Can you get that trailer ready, sir, please?
You know what, sir? That I can definitely do that.
Okay, you do that. All right. So we're gonna show you the trailer here in just a moment, as Mr. True Knowledge gets it ready. But since we were talking about the Warriors earlier a little bit, I just want to know, Amy, have you seen the Warriors?
No, I have no idea what you guys were talking about with the Warriors. Is it an older movie?
It's a 1979 movie that's directed by the same director that directed 48 Hours.
Okay. Should I watch that one next? Are you going to review it?
It'll probably be down the road. We'll probably review it, but definitely it's something you should check out just for a lot of the same people that were in 48 Hours are in that, along with other recognizable actors and actresses as well. So
nice. All right. I'll have to add that to my list.
It's like the ensemble movie of like where that has like all of like the 80s male action star type motherfuckers are all in that same movie.
Okay, like the Avengers, but for 80s actors.
Exactly. Yeah. That's exactly what I said before we came on the show. You know what?
Oh my God, we're so in sync.
You and I might be like, honestly, we might be like the Andres' ex-girlfriend, that has the soul Pocahontas in her or whatever, whatnot. We might have that going on.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Me and you, buddy.
No, I'm sure you'll find out what it is soon enough. He'll play the video. Okay. But anyways, here's the trailer, folks. Check out what we've been talking about.
We're sharing the same soul, just like Pocahontas and Andres. And he called him a spear chucker, too, in the fucking movie. Can you believe that shit? He called him a spear chucker. Oh, man.
It was a good trailer.
Yeah, so as we talked a little bit earlier about how Eddie Murphy almost got fired because he was too serious. I was reading something about that a while ago, about he basically, when he came into the movie, because he saw that it was supposed to be like a more of a cop action film, he thought he needed to be more serious than comical. And so that first day he was very nervous, and he ended up, choking a little bit, because he was so known for being comical, but not being serious and actiony. So when he was too bland, as they say, he ended up coming in the next day and started making some of those great cracks that we see throughout the film. And that's what kept him in production with the film. And they saw the star that they had hired, from that point. And he said that, that really was just the start of my stardom, really. Because that led him to getting, Beverly Hills Cop, Trading Places, and just on and on and on until he was such a mega, star. But really, this was kind of like the opening for him. This really was his very first role in the movies. And really, by the time he did Beverly Hills Cop in '87, that's when he became a superstar. But it was because of how amazing people saw him in this film. That's why they picked him for Beverly Hills Cop, because they enjoyed how good he was in 48 Hours. So I think,
that his stand up too.
Yeah. So, but
that's what 82, 83, 84, and whatnot, and all that. 88, 81 is when he was still doing stand up and whatnot. And he was big back then.
Yep. So yeah. So yeah, a lot of this movie is credible for a lot of his success, and I think that even it being his first film, he was very amazing. It showed how great of a talent he was, coming off of SNL, doing his comedy and so forth. So I think it did a great job. But anyways, so as you saw there, the trailer, really great trailer. It kind of just showed you little scenes from the film that were very poignant, and I thought were really fun sequences. But as you guys were talking about awards earlier, so this was nominated for 4 awards in '83. It won 2 out of the 4. It won for Best Music at the Los Angeles Film Critics Association. And then it won at the Grand Prix, the Festival du Film de Cognac, in '83 for Walter Hill directing. So I think that, winning 2 awards out of 4 was pretty good for a comedy action film. All right. So as we move on, let's see, where we leave off. We left off with, finding out
that fear that Eddie felt, going in the movie was probably similar to how Andres feels, coming out, knowing I'm going to be on the panel and whatnot, everything, and I'm not moderating that fear, it's getting better for him. But
we were left from the back alley fight they were having.
Yeah, I know where I am. I know where I'm at.
And the bar, yeah.
I know where I'm at. Anyways, Jeff is losing in the department here. Andres is in the lead. Amy is very close to overtaking you, though, Andres.
What's the lead? Where's this contest?
Baby, I set the energy in this bitch. Let's go. Let's do it.
The contest.
Well, because
I'm
you
new.
did that. So we have this kind of running joke contest, Amy, where I give imaginary points to these boys for how great they are on the panel. And it's kind of a running joke, and it changes and fluxes all over the place. And, Jeff is always trying to be number 1, and he usually is always number 2. So it's always good.
So who's number 1?
Right now, it's Andres in the lead. You're in second, and Jeff's in third because he's a little too confident tonight.
Sometimes I kill it some nights in the panel, and other nights I'm just fucking...
That's so funny. I didn't know there was a competition.
Oh, we got all kinds of inside jokes and stuff, and all kinds of crazy stuff going on in here, Amy.
Oh yeah. All right. So, like I said, we left off where we found out Luther's girlfriend has been taken hostage by Gans and Billy.
What a shot!
For them, they want him to get the money to give to them in exchange for her safe return. So after that, basically we have Luther goes to get the car that he knows where Reggie stole it, put it away. And while he's doing that, Jack and Reggie tail him to an area where Gaines comes to get the money. Luther, however, recognizes Jack and Gans, and Billy escapes after Billy kills the cop. And basically, while Reggie is, chases after Luther, and he's basically left with nothing, Jack ends up going back to the police station where he waits for Reggie to call. So after the call, Jack goes to a nightclub in the Fillmore district to find Reggie, who has basically ended up tracking Luther to a hotel across from the from the bar that he's at, or club, whatever you want to call it. So as that happens, Jack finds him there And while Reggie's there, it's been 3 years he's been incarcerated, so he hasn't gotten poontang. So he basically is trying to get poontang through this whole sequence. And so basically Jack agrees to allow him to go to the hotel across the room and get some poontang. And so as he's doing that, they're still trying to case out what's going on to get Luther and to get Gaines and everything. And but then they end up finding out that they see Luther leave the hotel. So, basically Reggie sees that. He goes and alerts Jack. So they go, basically they end up following. We see Luther get onto a bus, which is being driven by Billy. And Gans is has his girlfriend and has a gun pointed. And basically ends up fatally shooting Luther and presumably Rosalie as well. So basically Luther is dead now. And, basically there's nothing left. And, Gaines really has nothing left to hold on except for his freedom really now. So basically, Gaines ends up spotting Jack and Reggie, following them. And we get this really great car chase gunfight scene. And after that kind of ensues and happens, which ends up with, basically forcing Billy, or basically Billy forcing Jack's Cadillac through the window of a Cadillac dealership at that they go past. And that's what we saw. We ended up seeing that scene briefly in the trailer when they basically crash into the building and Jack ends up taking a sip of his booze. So after he crashes into the dealership's showroom, at this point, there's another heated verbal thrashing, from Jack's superiors, Captain Hayden, who, if you didn't recognize that actor, he was a pretty prominent actor in the 80s. He was also in the film Batteries Not Included, where he played a mute gentleman. And I forget what his actor's name was, but he was a great actor. Frank McRae. That's right.
Frank McRae. Yeah.
Yep. Frank McRae. He was a great actor. He was fun to watch. I remember when he died, I was really upset because I always enjoyed him. And so, basically he basically chews out Jack, and so then Jack and Reggie are ready to resign themselves to the fact that they failed to catch Gans. So we won't go any further than that. We'll stop there. So what are you guys' thoughts on that section of the film? The bus chase sequence, the other nightclub scene with Reggie trying to get some poon, and then the demise of Luther and Rosalie. What are you guys' thoughts kind of on that section of the film, and even the captain chewing out Jack as well? Let's start with you, Jeff.
Well, I personally cannot imagine not getting laid for 3 years. That would be really intense. I don't know how I would how I would handle that and all that and whatnot. Like, honestly, I'm surprised that Reggie is as laid back as he is and whatnot and all that, because I'd be like really pent up, I'd imagine. But it's awesome that like his one main goal and whatnot, everything, like when he has the one chance to get out of prison for 2 days or whatever, is like not going to see his like dead mother or something, or like going to see some like whatever. It's like, let me get some pussy, baby. You know what I'm saying? Like, before I go back to the prison or whatnot. I love that shit. It's so 80s, baby. Like there's so much shit that goes on in this movie that you could never do in the movie now.
That's not an 80s thing. That's just a men thing.
I'm just saying, you can't like say or do a lot of the shit that goes on in this movie in movies now. You can't do it. You can't call them two chicks in that one apartment dykes, like that, like Reggie does, or whatnot, everything, like them two dykes or whatever, whatnot. You can't say that anymore. Like, unless you like say it exactly the right way, like I did earlier with that N-word drop, baby. You know what I'm saying? You got to be on that pro level. But no, it's honestly 48 hours. That part of the film, it's intriguing. It is suspenseful. I guess you could say that it is interesting watching, Kate's character with Reggie's character kind of like, they're developing, like their rapport being built, whatnot, everything, right? Their fight scene, like when they beat the shit out of each other and whatnot, is awesome. It's good. I really enjoy it. What, am I going too far back?
That was the last sequence. We've moved on.
I know we're moving forward now. I'm sorry.
Back in time.
So it's very violent. The whole movie's very violent, and are we at the end?
No, not yet.
Almost. All right. One thing that is definitely like a consistent 80s trope is like the guns not needing to be reloaded during the fight scenes and the shooting scenes and whatnot, everything. They're just like shooting these pistols and whatnot, everything nonstop without reloading them and whatnot and all that. Like they don't seem to have to like put more bullets in and whatnot. They just shoot.
That's common today too.
It is, but it's just funny to see. I like the. Are we within the time period of the chase shootout scene?
Yes, where I stopped at. If you were paying attention, I stopped at when the captain chews at Jack, and they're about to give up
because they let him go. Yeah. So it's the captain chew outs and whatnot and all that are good. Like I enjoy that aspect of it. We never really talked about it, but I like the precinct where Kate's works and whatnot, everything, right? Whenever he goes back there, I just like the vibe of it and whatnot, and how his interactions with his colleagues and things like that and whatnot. It kind of just adds like different layers to his character a little bit and whatnot. It makes it more interesting and more cop-like. As far as like how things play out with Luther and the whole, the plot with the money and all that and whatnot, it's an interesting story. It all works and whatnot, and it comes together well. It's good to see, them lose, but have it be Reggie that kind of like resuscitates the whole shit and whatnot. Like, after basically the chew out and whatnot, and everything, and them having lost the killers. And I'll stop there.
Okay. Well, here's a little trivia for everyone. So the gal that plays the character Sally in the film, who is one of that girlfriends, is named Denise Crosby. Her grandfather was Bing Crosby, if you did not know that. So she is actually of singing royalty and dancing royalty. So there you go. There's a little trivia for you guys. She actually is pretty famous. Yeah.
Well, Annette O'Toole plays Nick Nolte's girlfriend in the movie, doesn't she?
Yeah, we talked about her already, sir.
I know.
So, you're losing. Just deal with it.
That's okay. I can handle that.
Amy's now in the lead.
Yay. I was just going to can I comment on the phone call?
Of course you can. You may go next.
Can I go next? Just so I don't forget what I want to say. I'm not a pro movie reviewer. I think this section of the movie, I think the phone call is a pivotal moment. I think this is where we really see Jack and Reggie start to become friends, or start to at least move towards becoming friends in the end. Especially because Reggie's out for 48 hours. He could really run away, and he is by himself at this point. So the fact that he calls the police station, the fact that he's still invested, despite the fact that he really wants to get it on because of ulterior motives. I think that says a lot. And when Jack's getting chewed out too, he stands up for Reggie. So I think this is kind of the moment where we really see a shift in character development, where they go from like hating each other to like, let's work together. And then ultimately, I know we'll get there to when they're becoming friends. You brought up the car in the movie. I'm not a car person, but I did notice a lot of reference to Reggie's car, Jack's car. Do you guys have any insight on that? I know the one was a Cadillac, but
Jack drives the Cadillac, that really old Cadillac. That's Jack.
Yeah, and then Reggie was gonna drive it when he gets out of jail. I'm not a car person, so I might have misinterpreted that part, but I know the car was like a big undertone, other than sex and racial tension and cop friends. The car was also like a big theme in the movie.
Yeah, Reggie's car is a very expensive type of car at the time, so that's why that was mentioned a lot. Because at the time, that was like a $200,000, $300,000 car. So it was a very pricey car. It was kind of like if you had like a Mercedes Benz, or if you had a Jaguar or Ferrari or something like that. That type of car he had. That's why they talked about it a lot, because it was considered a really expensive car for 1982. So that's kind of why it got talked about a lot. All right. Thank you, Amy. All right, Andreas, your thoughts, sir, on that section, please.
Yeah. Speaking the actor who's now with the captain, he's a great actor. He's if anyone has seen the Arnold film, The Last Action Hero, he's great in that. He set up the template of the captain, not taking any of the shit of his his employees. If you see Lethal Weapon and Bad Boys and Rush Hour. Well, not Rush Hour. Rush Hour doesn't have the captain. Yeah, busting the chops of Jackie Chan and Chris Tucker. He's hilarious. Oh, yeah, the first one.
Rush Hour does. Yeah, it has
first one.
That the captain there that says, a guy got his pinky blew off, and you blew up half a city block.
Yeah. I always love that. Yeah, I love Rush Hour. That captain there is so funny. And if anyone haven't seen the movie Loaded Weapon 1, he's in that as well. And my favorite line, he say, "You cannot shout. Okay, I'm the captain here. I can shout." That always cracked me up for that. He's great here, and I was kind of surprised he didn't have a huge role here. Just a minor one. You got speaking. Jeff brought up the police office where Nick Nolte works. There's one actor you miss is the Blade Runner actor, the one that's the android that killed one of the Blade Runners at the beginning of that film. He's in that movie as one of the partners, and he's great. And I was shocked that he was in that too. Again, same year actually. Blade Runner came out the same year as this movie. So this sequence, it's very fun. You see now that Reggie trying to reveal the reason why the main villain is out there is because of the money that him and the crew did a long time ago. And it's very interesting. You see slowly he becomes more and more like the reason why he's invested. He wants to take down Gantz because of what he did to him, because he betrayed him. That's the reason he got caught, and that's why he's serving for 3 years. And I totally get it. And plus that fighting, getting back to that alley fight, which is so funny. It reminds me of that fight in They Live. If you haven't seen the John Carpenter They Live, it's the same thing. Some random fight sequence in the back alley. I don't know why they did that, but it's just showing the macho man of the 80s, but I don't know. So
Roddy Piper.
Oh my god, I'm so sad he's no longer with us. He's so great at that. And Keith David is awesome. Anyway, the chase scene with the bus is awesome. It's so well lit and so choreographed. Like it's one of the best action sequence of like bus and car, which is cool. And I like that I say Jack defends Reggie from the captain because like come on, like he has helped him through now almost catching the villain, and one of the funny scenes is when he say, "Yeah, that's right, I say fuck you," and nigger. And Eddie Murphy was so hilarious. I was like, it's like he's so mean to him. It's like, oh my god. And then that's the stopping point, right, Saber? Because overall the sequence is really fun. It's the point where the movie gets really wrapping up to the final act we're getting into right now.
Correct. Thank you, sir. Excellent job by everyone. Everyone gets 5 million points. Except for Jeff, he gets 5 million minus 1. So he gets 4,000,099. Just because I can't give him only 4.
That's okay. That's still positive, baby.
There you go. Good job, sir. All right. So some more info for you guys about the movie a little bit before we move on. This was filmed between May 17th, 1982, and they ended up finishing in August of 1982. It was shot on location in San Francisco and LA. And as we were talking a little bit about how Eddie Murphy, he almost got fired from the shoot. He actually started a few weeks after principal photography began, because he was finishing up a season of Saturday Night Live. But yeah, I mean, there was. It's kind of funny how there was a few complications with the film. Hill was running into problems with the studio execs. Michael Eisner, the head of Paramount at the time, was worried that the film wasn't funny enough, and that's once again that goes back to Eddie Murphy. They didn't think he was funny enough, and him coming back and killing it. And so originally the found footage of the gunfight in the hotel, they found it to be too violent at that time in 1982. As Jeff has mentioned a little bit, that this movie is extremely violent, and that they felt that the too much of violence would kill the humor in the film. So they had to basically kind of cut that down a little bit too as well, and get do some cuts and stuff like that. But at that time, Hill told Paramount that he would never work for them again, because of just how much trouble there was on making a film for them, and basically a lot of people were saying that all the stupid execs and stuff like that were just being like overly crucial while they're making this film. So a lot of the reasons why probably Hill went on to do other things for different companies too is because of that, and why it took so long to get a sequel made. But I think that's kind of interesting, that just how much Hill hated the executives there. I thought it was kind of interesting little tidbit for you guys. All right, so the finale of the film, which is I think a decent, last portion of the film. I think there's some goods to it. I think that it concludes it very well. So, where we left off, like I said, Jack getting chewed out by his cop and defending Reggie, because they failed to catch Gans at a bar. Jack is wondering if Billy might go back to Casey, his girlfriend, and use that as a hideout. So Jack and Reggie decided to go back to Casey's place and see, just in case, that's what he decided to do. And so basically they end up forcing their way inside and have a brief confrontation where Reggie fatally shoots Billy. Gaines escapes into a maze of alleyways, capturing Reggie. Basically Jack ends up catching up and ends up shooting Gaines in the shoulder, throwing him away from Reggie. Then after being shot, Gaines gets really furious and charges at Jack, but then Jack ends up killing Gaines by shooting him 6 more times. Once again, going back to that, how Jeff was mentioning how they never reload their weapons. If he had already used his gun once, should have left only 5 bullets left in his revolver, and he wouldn't have had 6 more shots. So yeah, that is if you're thinking about actual logic with a gun, that's how it would work. And so then after he shoots him 6 more times, finally Jack takes Reggie to see Candy, the wonderful lady we saw earlier at the Poontang Lounge, as I like to call it. And Reggie gets his Poontang. And so Jack ends up leaving the money in Reggie's car and says that it will be right there waiting for him when he gets out of prison, when he gets released. And we'll put the convertible right back where you left it. Basically, as he's taking it back to jail, Jack, gives Reggie a stern warning about changing his ways once he's released, and Reggie agrees to do so, and to stop being a thief and everything. While he's saying that he agrees to this, he tries to steal Jack's lighter, and Jack catches him before he can. Then basically the movie ends with the 2 men sharing a laugh before Jack drives Reggie back to the prison. All right, so what are you guys' thoughts on the finale of the film? That final shootout, that bar sequence, Reggie finally getting what he wanted for his 48-hour vacay, and basically kind of how they end up becoming friends at the end. While he's, unfortunately, he still has to go back to prison, but him and Jack become kind of friends. So, what are you guys' overall thoughts on that section of the film? I'll start with you, Amy.
Yeah, I loved it. I think it wrapped up everything nicely with a bow. There was we weren't waiting on anything. There wasn't like a cliffhanger, though I guess there is a sequel, but it was a great ending, great conclusion. I thought the final fight scene was really good too, with Reggie and Candy. That I also like that it wasn't just about the sex. I think he genuinely had feelings for her, and we saw them almost get together when they were in that first club scene, and then obviously they had to chase after Gans, and he got interrupted. So it was nice that he got that time at the end, and he's like, "Oh, I'll see you when I get out." I forget what he says, if it was 6 months, how much time he had left, but he was like, "I'll be back." And you're like, okay. So I appreciated that. It was just deeper than trying to get it in on his 48-hour vacation. I think he got more than he bargained for when he got those 48 hours. He found love, but also he found a true friend in Jack. And I guess what I'm curious to know, because we don't see it, is what happens when if Jack goes back to the precinct, if the movie were to continue, and if they continue to be friends. So I guess there is a sequel, right? I haven't seen it. Okay, so maybe some of those things get cleared up in the sequel. But yeah, overall, I love the ending. And yeah, like I said at the top of this conversation, the character development, it all comes together in the end.
Yeah, if you watch the sequel, which came out in 1990, a year before you were born.
Yeah.
And it actually starts off when Reggie's getting out of jail after he has completed his official final month.
Was it all the way till 1990 they made the sequel?
Yeah, I told you, 8 years.
Wow.
That's a long time.
Yeah. Well, look at Beverly Hills Cop 4 that's coming out. The last one was at 94, so that's 20 years. So yeah, they make sequels and they like
whenever
to do
they want to.
Decades. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you watch the sequel, it gives you a little clarity at the beginning of the film. All right, thank you. Yeah. Andres, your thoughts on the conclusion of the film, sir?
Sure. I mean, this is fantastic. The ending was really great. I never noticed that, but I mean, it's a movie. Nothing's gonna be perfect or realistic like the real world. My dad always points this out, like why is the actress or the actor look so like have makeup and so clean after like a chase or something like that. It's like, come on, it's the movie, and and the bullets, like, yes. I did notice that. I was like, I mean, you see one time, really the bad guys one time just reload their guns. That's like the only time I see
that one time that they reloaded. Yeah, at the end.
Yeah. It's just very funny, and I mean, I don't know. It's just so funny they missed that, but I don't care. It's like you're here for action, and they deliver here. It's crazy. And I mean, this was fantastic. It's a really great. I mean, first up, it was great that they put it in Chinatown, because I always want my final fights or acts in a very visual, great sequence. Like for final battle. And this definitely delivered that. Like it felt like Chinatown meets I don't know, like Derry Harry. Like they just became the Derry Harry right now. It's like, go ahead, make my thing, pew pew, and kill. And I was like surprised he gracefully overkill on the main villain. It's like bam, bam. I was like, oh my god! It's like, come on, dude. I know he stole your Wolver. I know he crashed.
That was almost like that dude with Chucky.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's like Chucky, like stabbing him multiple times, and oh my god, yeah. It's funny when I see these heroes like overkill their villains. Like, oh, okay, I get it. Come on, stop it. I get it. I know you piss on this.
That guy deserved to get shot all the times, though. Seriously.
I mean, yeah, that's true. I mean, yeah, and Billy, it was funny. We're speaking of Predator. When he started to laugh, it just brought.
He pulled the knife out from Predator.
Predator.
The Predator knife. Amy, did you ever see Predator?
No, I think I saw.
Oh,
No, I haven't. I feel like I haven't seen enough movies to be on this show. I gotta watch more movies.
Oh, stop it! It doesn't work that way. No,
I need to watch more movies.
That's not. No, it doesn't work that way. But
Jeff, it is Andres' turn. Shut up.
Stop distracting us.
Yeah, no. Predator is a great film. Watch it and on your own time. It's a great sci-fi action film. It's amazing. Anyway, you know, and the Billy here is from that movie. That's why we're bringing up. And it's funny when he laughs, he laughs there too. It is so creepy and just so bizarre. And you know, after that whole action's done, you know, you see the two heroes, you know, relaxing, and I was happy that, you know, Eddie Murphy got sex and with Candy of all people. I did laugh out. Did she say a priest when they first met? Because that was very funny when she did it. I was like, Eddie Murphy the priest. That's funny. And I was kind of surprised that Nick Nolte didn't keep the car. Like, come on, like I get you're a convertible, but like I think that car you have right there driving with is so much better. I don't know. It's like, okay, he's convertible. But yeah, so I fairly enjoyed the film. This movie is such a big importance to the buddy cop film genre. I mean, it helped lead the other franchise I brought up, you know, Lethal Weapon, Rush Hour, Bad Boys, to the Simeon during the 80s and 90s. This helped a lot to start the larger careers like Eddie Murphy, the writer that you saw that's credit here. And one of them is actually the one that did Street Fighter that we review. He's here. This is where he started doing his writing career. Who do the Die Hard films, you know, screenplays and all that. And Joel Silver, who's a big action producer who did Commando, Predator, the Matrix films. We're going to go over next couple weeks. This is where he started, and so this film is very important to like the action genre in general, besides the buddy cop. So I love it, and the score. I'm going to bring up last thing. Score is amazing, fantastic. That's another thing that set up the buddy cop is that it doesn't have the saxophone, just like Lethal Weapon, but it has the little jazzy. So yeah, I love this film.
Excellent. All right, Jeff. Now you may talk, so it's your turn.
Did the same guy that did the score for Commando do this film too? Because it had Commando vibes. I'm sorry, Amy. I hate to be talking about these films that you haven't watched or whatnot. These are all 80s classics. The Predator,
I'll watch all of them. Make me a list.
They're all Arnold Schwarzenegger classics.
James Horner.
James Horner did it.
All right, so yeah, same score. Yeah, I love the score. It's really good. I love the music. It's got like those jungle vibes to it and shit at times and stuff like that and whatnot. You know, either way, yeah, great writing. Overall, great character development. Great, interpersonal character development in between Nick Nolte and Eddie Murphy and whatnot and all that. You know, we talked, AB, before you came out about how Nick Nolte said that almost all their dialogue in the film was ad-libbed. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, like they came up with it off the cuff. So I really get the feeling from watching the film that like you almost feel it. Like when you hear that, it's not surprising that's how it worked. But overall, I think it's so funny how Andres inserted the final battle into this. Like, I've seen multiple people do that on our reviews of different stuff and whatnot, everything, adding the final battle like aspect. That's the whole MCU like Avengers vibe and whatnot, where people want to use the word final battle. There really was no final battle in 48 hours. Mr. Pop Culture Guy, sir. Time Cop, Time Lord.
Excuse me, final act.
There was a final shootout. There was no final battle. It wasn't Avengers Endgame. Okay, just being clear. No, great writing.
Called a joke and it fell flat.
Fell flat.
Nobody responded.
Nobody responded. That's okay. It happens.
Silent.
You move on. You move forward, baby.
Good job. Good job, Jeff.
Okay, USA.
I give you 5,000 points for that, sir.
Thank
for
you.
That effort.
That was a good comeback on my part. I know. I recovered very well. Well finished film. You know, like Amy said, you know, just well finished, well written. You know, to where like, you know, it's a good start, it's a good ending, very clean. You know what I mean? Whatnot. You know, nothing left hanging. Right. There's really, you know, good positive vibes from like the relationship between you know, Eddie and you know, Nick Nolte's characters and whatnot there by the end. They're like pals. You know, it's great to see that change. I don't know if that like did anything for race relations back then. Like, you know, if like seeing that, like that kind of like, you know, if that was something that they thought about, right, was wanting, you know, wanting to have them have that fight, you know, obviously have Nolte's character express, you know, racist sentiments towards, you know, Reggie, right, but then like turn around and like, you know, accept him, you know, towards the end and whatnot, right, after like Amy said, you know, again, Reggie called into the police department and whatnot when he didn't have to. He could have taken off, right? He kind of proved himself. It's an interesting movie overall, and like I said, well finished. Nick Nolte in his heyday was great, and that's all I got. Maybe okay, USA. Thank you, AV. Appreciate it.
Okay, USA.
Okay, USA.
Okay, USA. Thank you, sir. Good job. Good job. You redeemed yourself a little bit there, sir. Good job.
I always do, bro.
Yeah, yes. At that time, this movie, if I remember correctly, I looked it up one time, and for that time frame in 1982, how they had Reggie and Jack's relationship was very common for, you know, African Americans and for, you know, white people at that time. Their relationship, because there's still a lot of that segregation feeling still, even though it had been several years since the Jim Crow Act. You know, there was still a lot of people that had a hard time letting go of that. And so that was actually they pulled that into there because that was still very common at that time. As time has gone on, it's gotten less and less. That it's still out there because there's just, you know, unfortunately, that's just society. We can't help, you know, what we were taught for many years or what was, you know, a part of our DNA or whatever, you know, so we're always going to have some sort of that kind of thing going on. But at the same time, though, the movie really helped show that doesn't matter what color you are, what race you are, you can still work together. And that's kind of what they were trying to get across at that time in the 80s. But they were trying to show that how it gets worked out, there might be those types of things that happen in order to get to that place for them becoming friends. So I think that was something probably in the writing between, you know, Walter Hill and the other writers that, you know, they kind of want to throw that in there because, you know, in the 80s, if you think about it, there was a lot of PSAs during the 80s that were trying to show, you know, work together, people, be friends with each other, no matter what race you are or whatever like that. That was very common during that time. That was a time when it really was trying to be pushed, you know, into, you know, schoolrooms and stuff like that. So I think that movie 48 Hours was one of those films that was engulfing or, you know, trying to show that is possible at that time. Just, you know, hence why it's called a buddy cop movie.
I just can't believe AB's worried about what I'm talking about on YouTube. I can't believe they actually use spear chucker and the N word in the same film.
Yeah.
Who cares?
I thought it was interesting. Speaking of this race issue, we did see the different clubs featured in the movie. That there was the one where Reggie met Candy was a predominantly African-American club. And then when Reggie stands up to kind of those redneck guys, that's a predominantly white club. So even though 1982 or 84, it doesn't seem that long ago, like it's crazy. Like you wouldn't, I mean, I don't know. So I'm from New York, but I went to school in Washington, D.C. and now I live in the Netherlands. I mean, you wouldn't really see something like that now, I don't think. Such segregation.
No, not to that extent as it was back then, but kind of where things are going, it's kind of being pushed towards that again. But we really don't get into that. But yeah, you know, I still feel that was kind of one of the things I remember when this movie came out. That was one of the talking points that a lot of people brought out is like, holy crap, an action movie with a black and a white guy working together, you know, was kind of a big deal at that time, you know, 42 years ago. So,
yeah.
You know, so
Jesus Christ, it's a long time ago.
Kind of like,
yeah.
You know, so it's, you know, 40 years, that's 4 decades ago. So, I mean, think about it. I mean, in 40 years, things have changed quite a lot over the last 40 years. So, you know, that's just that side of the times at that time.
Except for my penis, it's the same size it was when I was born.
That is true. That is true, sir. We've mentioned that several times. Hence, when you try to find the white vision penis too. So,
my God.
You know, that was hard.
Changing the subject, a lot of times when I watch older movies now, I think what it would be like. You're welcome. What it would be like if they had phones, cell phones. Because think about it, all the Call to the Precinct, or when Reggie runs inside, and even shows like Stranger Things and things like that. These kind of movies and shows, I don't think would be as good if everyone had a phone. Oh, sorry, I knocked over my water bottle. If everybody is on their phone, like, oh, I'll just send you my location where I'm at, where we could track GANs based on Find My iPhone. Like, there wouldn't be these chases. So that's something now, watching old movies, I'm like, it'd be so different if they just had a phone, a cell phone.
Yep, that is true. That is very true. Very true. All right, so we're gonna go with ratings now. So how we do ratings, Amy, since this is your first time here on the Bleeding Edge, we do a 1 to 10 numbering system, and we give basically between that 1 to 10, we give our thoughts on that film. So, like, say if you think it's, in the middle, some people go with 6, some go with 7. It depends on that, and so that's how we usually do it. Like, and then you can gotta give your final thoughts. That's kind of how we do the ratings thing. So, so I'll let Andres go first to kind of lead the way of how we do it.
Sure.
That'd be a 9.
Fuck you. Anyway, I'm sorry for my Batman Dark voice. Fuck you. No, that sounds sharply in it. No. Shut up, sir. Anyway, it's a 10 out of 10. I will say it's fantastic. Love the film. I mean, this film is so important, as I brought up before. I mean, for a buddy cop film and an action film, Sandra, for the late 80s and 90s. So thankfully, we got this film to start up all those great films like Commando, Die Hard, Lethal Weapon, all those great classics that we got now is because of this movie. And I brought up the list of the people that are involved in this movie, besides, Walter Hill. And James Horner, the late great James Horner, sadly passed away like a couple of years ago, since 2015. Love his score here. I didn't know that was him. He scored amazing stuff like Star Trek 2 and 3 and Aliens, Braveheart and, Titanic. Fantastic composer. He brought up the flavor that about the buddy cop scores. And Eddie Murphy, that's what he gave us, Eddie Murphy. I'm so grateful we got Eddie Murphy because this film is so fantastic as a comedian. I love his films. I mean, come on. Bill Leo's Cop is amazing. I mean, Trading Places is so funny. And then lastly, Walter Hill. My dad. I miss my dad so much, and watching this reminds me of what he loves about the Warriors. It's very personal for me to see this film, and I know he likes Eddie Murphy. So, overall, 10 out of 10 is amazing. I highly recommend it. So excited to hear the guys' ratings and see how this lands.
Excellent. All right, Jeff, your rating, sir.
I'll give it a 8.75, sir. And I don't have any final thoughts besides I'm going to give everybody else a 10 tonight. Amy gets a 10. Iris gets a 10. Cyber gets a 10, but the movie only gets an 8.75.
Excellent. Amy, what would you give it?
I'll give it an 8. I think it's hard. And also, this is my first one, but I would give it an 8. I thought the music was good. The acting was good. It was funny. I think 10 is like, I don't know, like an unreachable standard. So I'm sure the movie wasn't perfect, but I did find it hilarious and entertaining, and I love a good action comedy. And I like what Andre said, that I didn't think about that, how it really set the stage for all these other movies. I do love Rush Hour, and I'm like, oh yeah. So that's really interesting that it kind of set the bar for that. It was unprecedented in its time, and then now look at the legacy of it. So I think that's really important as well. There's just so much going on in this movie, like love, sex, friendship, race, like action. There's a lot happening in a short period of time. It was actually not a particularly long movie compared to movies today. I feel like movies today are so long. Those are my final thoughts.
No, that's a really good point. Honestly, I mean, it's a very compact film.
Yeah, a lot, like jam-packed. But that's good, I think, because movies today, some of them are just too long.
They are.
Wrap it up. Put it. Some
They
things
are.
are not necessary. This just packed everything. It was like there was no part that was really boring. It was either, or there was an action scene or a chase scene, or there was no parts that were filler. I don't think.
It's kind of like our shows.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
All action. All action.
Yeah.
Great
All
dialogue, comedy,
Tension, political intrigue.
political
intrigue, yes. Anyways, thank you, Amy. Good job. Yep. I give it a solid 10 as well. As I've mentioned before, 10 in my book is anything that entertains me.
Oh.
If it entertains me, if I get a laugh, if I'm laughing through the entire film, I give it a 10. Because I think, to me, movies are what I consider art entertainment. And all the people that started making films back in the late 1800s, their purpose originally was to make films for entertainment value. And if you forget where movies come from, that was what it's for, it was another way of giving people theater without going to a theater, without having to see it in live. They could see it pre-recorded. So it was originally intended, all these people that started creating films, was to be entertainment. And so when you take movies too seriously and nitpick every little thing, you're not going to find any joy out of it. So hence why, if it shows me entertainment, if I enjoy it, I give it a 10. So, that's kind of how I view this film, because I think it's a classic. I think that...
Well, sir, I'm only allowed to give 10s when Madam She-Hulk tells me it's okay.
Oh my God.
Just to be clear.
Well, She-Hulk is not...
I've got to get approval.
She doesn't control you in this, sir. Remember? We had this talk.
Okay.
She no longer controls you.
All right.
Oh. Okay, there we go. Anyway, so yeah, 10. I give it a 10. All right. Excellent, guys. So that is 48 hours, folks, out there in the great live streaming land, or if you watch this after the live stream. I'm going to turn it over to Mr. TrueKnowledge to take us out.
All right. Plug time. Woohoo. Excellent. All right. Now, Amy, I'm going to pull up. You can go first, and I'm going to pull up your podcast. Is there anything else you want me to pull up besides the pod?
Yeah, maybe my Instagram too, if you don't mind. I know you
can,
guys have a big following. So yeah, guys, this is my podcast. Okay, can I do a plug? So thank you guys so much for having me. This was a lot of fun. I hope to come on again. We can do more movies. Yeah, so I have a podcast. It's called Drop Bass Not Bombs. I'm also wearing the shirt. So I interview interesting people in the electronic music scene who are raving for a cause, making the world a better place. We have 3 seasons. It's available on Spotify and YouTube. I'm also very active on Instagram. It's at MCU'Official. I do a lot of content creating in the music scene. I also do event reviews. So I'm actually headed next to Las Vegas for Electric Daisy Carnival, EDC Las Vegas. Yes, there's me. I do event reviews for a company called EDM House Network. I do very in-depth, intense reviews about festivals, also interview artists, breaking news, things like that. And then I have a second podcast, Ravers Revelations, where my friend and I read and react to festival stories. So I do a lot of stuff, but that's like the main thing, the main stuff.
Awesome. That all sounds very interesting. And I have checked out one of the podcasts, and I did enjoy it.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
You're welcome. And thank you once again for coming out. And I'm sorry about the scheduling, snafu, and all that and whatnot. I'm sure it probably was my fault. So my bad, Amy. Thanks for coming through either way. And hopefully you won't
totally
come
fine.
back.
You're lucky I had everything like packed it. So like I just
know.
had to quickly get it. Yeah, let's do it again for sure.
No, most definitely. We did get lucky. Uddy's Pop Culture Guy, sir. What's going on over here at Uddy's Pop Culture Guy Presents?
Well, not much. I'm recently got more subscribers. Well, not that moment, but over my channel, it's up to 939 subscribers, 939 subscribers. So that's good. Yeah. So it's kind of weird.
That's just 36, sir.
940.
Yeah, 940.
Now 940 now.
Yeah. So I just posted down my me, Jeff, did a trailer reaction on these new Planet of the Apes films that's coming out this Friday. This today is going to start my Planet of the Apes content that I'm going to do. So Friday, I'm going to post my top ranking of the Planet of the Apes films. And then Sunday, I'm going to post the Dawn of the Planet of the Apes for its 10th anniversary. So that's going to be great. Yesterday, me, Jeff, thank you, Jeff, for joining me to do
You're welcome, sir.
the live stream of Chucky. We did season 3. We just wrapped up the whole season. We reviewed the last 2 episodes. So, but yeah, so check that out. And yeah, tomorrow I'm going to post a 48 hours tribute because I love the film. I thought it'd be great to honor what we did today. And yeah, this is where I'm at right now. So thank you everyone for joining me. Please support me and hit the hit mark. Amy, it was an honor to meet you. Continue the great work. I love techno music as well a little bit.
That's awesome.
So yeah, so thank you for joining us. This was a blast.
Thank you.
Cyberneticshark, sir.
Hello. So if you enjoyed me as a moderator or you enjoyed me on the panel over here, the MCU'S Bleeding Edge, you can definitely check out my solo content. You can find me under Cyberneticshark under YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Patreon, Threads, pretty much anywhere there's a social media network. You can find me there. Just look for Cyberneticshark. As you can see my most recent review there. I just uploaded my Dune Part 2 review. So if you haven't seen that, check that out. Or my trailer reaction of Maxine, which is coming out. That movie looks absolutely fantastic. Can't wait to see it. And it's the 3rd film in the the X series that is being done by A24. And yeah, just keep on trucking. If you have not seen the film Unfrosted yet, definitely go check that out on Netflix. Freaking hilarious film. It's Jerry Seinfeld's directorial debut. He did a great job. I just most recently put up my mini reviews of the 3 recent Planet of the Apes films, Rise, Dawn, and War, which all came out respectively about 3 years apart from each other, 2011, 2014, and 2017. Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, of course, like Andreas said, comes out this Friday. And just that one, not the other 3. As he was saying, I felt he said the whole film series. I'm like, I think just
No. It's just the 10th anniversary for Dawn.
Yeah, there you go, folks. And so, yeah, I will be going to see that and reviewing that soon as well. And yeah, I'll be having more stuff up for you guys soon. You'll be seeing more reviews, more trailer reactions, all that kind of good stuff. So keep your eyes on that. If you haven't subscribed, hit that subscribe button. Help Andreas get to that 1,000 mark and beyond. Help me get past that 1,100 mark. So yeah, thank you all.
All right, folks. 40 hours. The movie review is over. We appreciate all of you. God bless everybody out there. Have a wonderful rest of the week. Have a wonderful weekend. Thanks to everybody on the show tonight. Great job, Cyber. Great job, Amy. Fuck you, Andres. And I had to finally get you back for the 17 times you've already said it to me. Peace out, folks. We'll see you later.
Bye.
Hey, yo, Jay, can we get some ratchet one time? Look, I don't wanna talk. How you try and press the kid and really you was soft. All you know is capping, homie, you don't know the law. Pedal